I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are diving headfirst into the total roller coaster of baseball action from May 9th, 2026. We're going to unpack a game that went from a totally standard matchup to an absolute jaw-dropping blowout, look at the shifting tectonic plates of the division standings, and then zoom out for some massive stories developing around the rest of the league. Whether your team is riding high right now or stuck in a major rut, the data we're getting into today tells a fascinating story about momentum, sheer power, and honestly, the total unpredictability of baseball. So here's our roadmap for today. First, the Astros blank the Reds. 2, the anatomy of a blowout. 3, a division standings update. And 4, a quick trip around the league. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Astros blank the Reds. Now, when I say blanked, I mean an absolute, unequivocal shutting down of the Cincinnati offense, and right in their own home at Great American Ballpark, no less. The disparity in the numbers is literally staggering. You have the Houston Astros putting up 10 runs on 13 hits. But you know what the craziest metric is? It's the 29 total bases. 29! That tells us they weren't just slapping singles. They were driving the ball with absolute authority all over the yard. Meanwhile, the Reds? 0 runs, just 5 hits, and a measly 6 total bases. The Astros offense was basically an unstoppable freight train, and the Reds' bats were just completely frozen. This wasn't just a win, it was a total offensive eclipse. Moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of a Blowout. Trace this timeline with me, because you can literally feel the momentum snowball as the game goes on. It all starts with a spark in the second inning. Zach Dezenzo launches a 359-foot home run to right field, bringing in Matthews. Okay, 2-0 Astros. Then things get kind of quiet. Until the 6th inning. Boom! Yordan Alvarez steps up and just absolutely crushes a 407-foot bomb to right center. Now it's 4-0. We move to the 8th, and Isaac Paredes grounds out, but it's enough to bring Altuve home, 5-0. And then the 9th inning. Oh man, the 9th inning. The Astros lineup just completely erupts for 5 runs. Zach Cole hits a 376-foot homer. Christian Vázquez is right behind him with a 385-foot shot. Shea Whitcomb adds an RBI single. It went from a steady Houston lead to a total avalanche in the blink of an eye. So that's 4 home runs for the Astros and 0 for the Reds. And look, you just cannot win a modern baseball game if you're getting outslugged like this. That massive 407-foot blast by Alvarez wasn't just a run on the board. It was a total momentum-shifting statement. Houston banked on the long ball, and it paid off tremendously. But actually, let's lower the volume for just a second. Because while the offense was loud and explosive, and naturally grabbing all the headlines, the real foundation of this 10-0 victory is the number 7. That's 7 masterful shutout innings pitched by Houston's Burrows. We really need to appreciate this performance. He threw 98 pitches, landing 62 of them for strikes, allowed only 3 hits, gave up just a single walk, and struck out 6 batters. In a game where his team handed him a mountain of run support, Burrows stayed perfectly dialed in and tossed an absolute masterclass on the mound. All right, Section 3, Division Standings Update. So here's the fascinating part. Despite putting up 10 runs and looking completely invincible against the Reds, the Astros are actually still sitting at 16-23 in the American League West. They're stuck in 4th place, 4.5 games back from the division-leading Athletics. So the big takeaway here is that Houston is currently trying to dig themselves out of a pretty deep early season hole. A blot win like the one we just looked at proves they've absolutely got the firepower and the pitching to dominate, but they have a lot of work left to do if they want to catch up to Oakland and Seattle. Now, if we shift our focus over to the National League Central, the situation for the Cincinnati Reds takes a much, much darker turn. They've lost 8 consecutive games. They're now 20-19, tumbling all the way down to 7 games behind the division leader. When you suffer a 0-run performance at home, it's not just an isolated bad day at the park anymore, right? It's part of a brutal, ongoing slide. They desperately need to find a way to stop the bleeding, especially with the Chicago Cubs sitting incredibly comfortably right at the top of that division. Which brings us to Section 4, Around the League. Let's check out some other major headlines. First, we do need to take a serious look at some news developing off the field today. San Diego Padres pitching prospect Humberto Cruz has pleaded guilty to a charge of receiving money to transport non-citizen immigrants within the United States. This is obviously a significant legal matter unfolding in the federal justice system, completely removed from the realm of sports entertainment. It serves as a stark reminder of the serious, real-world issues that can intersect with professional sports organizations. We will, of course, continue to explain the facts of this legal proceeding as official sources provide them. Okay, stepping back onto the diamond, let's bring the energy right back up, because we really have to marvel at what is happening in Chicago right now. The Chicago Cubs didn't just beat the Texas Rangers 7-1, they secured their second 10-game winning streak of the season. Let that sink in. It is only May 9th, and this team has already strung together double-digit consecutive wins twice. And right in the middle of all that incredible team success is just a spectacular individual effort from Ian Happ. He drove in a run in the first inning to put the Cubs ahead, extending his personal on-base streak to a staggering 29 games. It is just an absolute masterclass in consistency at the plate. Which leads us perfectly to the big question of the day. You've seen the Astros' massive offensive explosion, you've seen the standings, but when you look at a team with a phenomenal 27-12 record, riding high on their second 10-game winning streak of the year, are the Chicago Cubs currently the most dangerous team in baseball? I really want you to think about that as you watch the next slate of games. The momentum we've explored today, from Burrows' pitching clinic to Alvarez's huge home run, right down to Ian Happ's incredible on-base streak, it just goes to show how lightning fast the narrative can shift in the sport. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing the data, stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next one.